All right, let's talk about Sam Darnold and the Minnesota Vikings, who had a bizarre game, quite frankly, as they beat the Jacksonville Jaguars, and so there were some positives that I'll get into. This is also a very sloppy game. I mean, they were playing the Mac Jones-led Jaguars and were barely able to hang on, largely due to turnovers. Let's talk about what went wrong with the Sam Darnold-led Vikings in this one that allowed this game to ultimately be close, but we'll still talk about the positives as well. In fact, let's start off with some positives. This play, the Jaguars are going to be in a cover 3 zone on a 3rd down and 3. This is very early on in the game. And watch Trayvon Walker on this play. The edge rusher going up one-on-one against the new tackle that the Vikings have brought in. And let's just be honest, he's not Christian Darrisaw, right? As you see, this play is going to get really blown up. So for Darnold, he's looking down the field. Maybe he could throw it underneath, but honestly, no route looks great if he does want to take a chance. So it's a bit of a difficult situation for multiple reasons here. However, Darnold is going to get around Walker. He rolls out towards the top of the screen. Over here, again, this still isn't wide open. It's a throw he can make for sure, but it's not like the easiest throw in the world. However, Darnold makes a really nice throw on the move. This is what Darnold can do, right? He's capable of making these types of plays. So that's definitely nice to see if you're a fan of the Vikings, and this is what works. Like this one's another one where it's going to be a man coverage concept. This time it's Justin Jefferson, and if you have a one-on-one matchup with Justin Jefferson, Darnold is going to look in Jefferson's direction. That's kind of what he does. Pay no attention to the spotlight on a different player. That's just what the broadcast team had up. That's nothing to do with me. But anyway, watch what happens. Darnold takes the snap. He looks over in Jefferson's direction. And I think this play, again, it's very telling as to how Darnold approaches offense. It's not wide open, but Darnold is going to trust his receivers. He's going to try and get his receivers to make a play. That's who he is. And here, it's working. And to be honest, that's what's been working this season, is this philosophy, this mindset. But there is a way that it can go wrong as well. For every strategy you have, there is usually a disadvantage to it. And we saw that disadvantage in this game. Like heading over here, one of those disadvantages is when you're not throwing to Justin Jefferson. This is Aaron Jones, who's the halfback against man coverage running a route, which, the nice thing is you get a linebacker in coverage. That's why you want to look at this route. Watch as when Darnold takes the snap, he looks over in Jones's direction, fires in that direction, and really this isn't the throw he should be making. This is just, it's not open. Luckily for him, that is a linebacker and not a corner, so it doesn't end up intercepted. But again, this is kind of what he was doing, was he was taking chances, and not all of them were working out. Now, not all of them were ending up in turnovers either, but some of them were coming close, and of course some of them were. Here's another one that falls in the coming close situation, and this is it's a tough play because it's zone coverage. You see this over the middle route, and how it can work, right? Watch as when Darnold runs this play action. Really, the way this works for Minnesota is, for Jacksonville, is they have a corner who's supposed to be covering. You're thinking, hey, it's a cover 3 zone. The defensive back who's supposed to be covering more underneath, no way he can get all the way back here. But since there's no one to keep him where he's supposed to be, which is really right around the 50-yard line, he just floats back because he sees there's a guy open over there. Darnold doesn't read this, and again, nearly gets intercepted. Really could have been intercepted. It's these types of plays, right, where those are the ones you look at and say, yeah, this is why we drafted J.J. McCarthy, quite frankly. This is why Darnold has bounced around teams, because he will make these mistakes. And also, I bring up he likes to try and give his receiver a chance. This one's another one of those situations where you have Jordan Addison in a one-on-one matchup on a 3rd and 7. You can see how this could work relatively early on into the play. So anytime you get a situation like this, you usually want to, see if you can take advantage. So when Darnold takes the snap, he's going to look over in Addison's direction. And again, is this open? Not really. This is going to be a difficult throw. The one advantage you do have is that the Jaguars defender has his back turned, so he can't play the ball. Addison can. That's why Darnold's making the throw. Okay. 3rd down and 7, sure. There is a bit of a risk factor if the Jaguars defender turns around at the right time and gets an interception, but that's unlikely. I don't mind this throw, but just the ball itself is just too high and ends up falling incomplete. And again, I get it. You want to make sure you avoid a turnover. You want to make sure you at least get 3 points here, but it's still a missed throw, even from where you would want to throw it cautiously on this one. So, again, not Darnold's best day. These are the throws he's been making this season. He just missed this one. We can now get into the 3 interceptions, the first of which really wasn't that big of a deal, in my opinion, for him. Like, it wasn't really his fault. Again, you could sit here and make an argument, though, that there is something to this, where he's once again throwing to Justin Jefferson, not because Jefferson is open, but because he's Justin Jefferson, and not really being open there results in a batted pass and an interception. It's certainly not a turnover-worthy play, but you could make the argument when Darnold has the philosophy he has of giving his receivers a chance, sometimes these plays are going to happen, which isn't unfair. The other two were both in the red zone, which is unfortunate because, again, this game could have been a blowout had Minnesota just done a better job in the red zone. You see right here, it's Jefferson once again going over the middle against zone coverage. And when this play begins, to be honest, I think him and Jefferson just weren't really on the same page here, because when Darnold takes the snap and starts to fire over the middle, it's really blurry right here. Sorry about that. This is the best screen shot I could get. But you see right here, Jefferson's kind of peeling off right here. He's not attacking the ball. The Jaguars defender does. It's a bit of a low throw. It might have been by design. That might have not even been a miss, but just him and Jefferson not on the same page. Either way, it's a mistake that can't happen, though, for Minnesota. I mean, you got to be able to at least get 3 points here. Really, you want to get 7 points here, and that's a tough situation for sure. And the other one is, the disadvantage sometimes of having a guy like Justin Jefferson, where that sounds crazy to say, but, again, I would be reminded of the Matthew Stafford early years when he had Calvin Johnson, and, when you have Calvin Johnson, you throw the ball to Calvin Johnson. But because of that, a lot of people said that he actually became a better quarterback once Calvin Johnson left, and he was able to kind of distribute it a little bit better, because sometimes when you have a great receiver, these types of plays can happen. It's a 3rd down and 3, so again, let's look towards Justin Jefferson on 3rd and 3. It makes sense. When this play begins, Darnold's going to take the snap. He fires it in Jefferson's direction, but you see the safety. There's one safety covering the top half of the screen, the field all the way towards the offense's right. But when only one route is deep on that side of the field, and it's Justin Jefferson's route, where do you think that safety is going to go? These are just the things you have to be aware of when, again, the good thing about Justin Jefferson is you have Justin Jefferson. But of course, teams are going to be prepared to try and cover him. Usually that helps set things up underneath and helps set up other things. And occasionally he can still be Justin Jefferson. Here, though, I mean, it's a bad read by Darnold. It just is. The throw wasn't a horrible one, but it's not the right read there. Ends up getting intercepted. So that was the 3rd pick. So yeah, I mean, just straight up, Darnold can't be making these mistakes. He just can't. Minnesota's too good of a team. They still won the game. Hey, you're 7-2. If your bad games are still resulting in wins, you feel pretty good. But this defense is too good. There's too much talent on offense. Darnold has had better games. If he's going to have a game like this in the playoffs, they're not going to win. That's just the reality of the situation. So yeah, we'll see what happens. But those are my thoughts on all of this. What do you think? Let me know in the comments below. Always love hearing from you. And of course, as always, thanks for watching.